Hey, Stephanie, how are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Following the incident that took place last game, I wonder how, as a team, y'all are supporting your coach.
I think just in any way we can, and just letting him know that we're behind him in all instances of that nature.
Given the silence from the league, do you all feel supported in this matter by the league?
We're hoping for better results, so we're definitely hoping that there's action taken behind that because it's unacceptable.
Thank you.
Cheryl Rice-Out with WBZ.
Hi, Stephanie. How much were everybody, how much was everybody in the team aware what was going on with the refs and James?
I think he, did a really good job of, not bringing it to our attention, during the game, and just handling it the way it needed to be handled.
Have you and the team discussed what happened collectively?
Yeah, we've talked about it, and just that it's sad that we still have to deal with that today, but it's something that does need to be dealt with for future generations, especially to come, so that they won't have to deal with that.
As far as on the court, how do you guys stay aggressive without fouling at this point?
I think it's just knowing and realizing how the refs are calling the game and adapting. So definitely have to.
And sometimes that's not easy.
Yeah, you could say that, but I think as the season goes, we'll adapt more and more, and it'll get smoother every game. So
Great, thank you very much.
Shannon Ryan with the Tribune.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I just had a follow-up to some of those questions that were asked. Were you on the court, and did you hear that specific remark from the official?
No, I didn't.
Okay. And James, he was also saying in the previous game too, I think had alluded just to the fact that maybe this guy gets treated a little differently officiating. Is that something you feel like is a issue, or is that something you guys feel? I mean, he made a comment about just, because of your jerseys, getting different foul calls, and it's getting ridiculous. And I was just kind of wondering what the backstory is on that, or just how much of an issue that is, and what is the issue there if it is?
From the players' end, that's not really, our worries right now. We're just, trying to improve as a basketball team. We're going to come out and play hard every single night. So I think that's not the players' concern right now. We're more concerned with getting, better individually and as a team.
What do you take from these recent losses? And you guys are dealing, with some lingering injuries, and just what do you take from those losses to move forward?
Just that there's so much room for growth. It's a pretty, a lot of new faces coming together, and rewatching back the games and looking through the film. There's just so much room for growth. So I'm not really sweating them right now. Early in the season, and I think we just have so much room for improvement.
Thank you.
Doug Feinberg.
Hey, Stephanie, I'm curious how you feel your adjustment to the pros is going so far.
I'm excited just to get better every single day. To be here is a blessing in itself. So me personally, I know I'm going to improve every single game and just, get a little better at, different things as the season progresses. So I'm excited. I'm excited for, what else is to come and to improve and get better every single night, every single day of practice.
I'm curious, is there something is easier than you thought it might be, or something harder than you thought it might be going from college to the pros so far? I know it's early in the season in your career, but just something that might have been easier or harder than coming out of college.
I think it's as expected. Everybody's good, night in, night out. It's not like, when you get to college and you're playing against the end of a college bench, when you're playing against the end of a pros bench, everybody is good, top tier players every night, all, throughout the entire roster. So it's just you're playing against, tough players every single night, and just knowing that and getting better every day.
Thank you.
Charles Hallman.
Yes. Just in terms of just every, there seem to be so many injuries going on around the league. Is it suspect that the training camp was too short and it didn't get a chance to really, get warmed up and those type of things? Or are you concerned about that? Because the season does go quick and there's so much going on at this time.
So what was your question about training camp?
Was training camp long enough to get you conditioned to play in the season, because we have so many injuries that's going on around the league?
Yeah, and I think that's something in women's basketball where there just are unfortunately a lot of injuries. And I mean, you see it in men's too. I think that's just something unfortunate, but I think training camp was fine. I think there's just been some unfortunate injuries, and I think we see that a lot. So yeah, it's just staying ready and the next person being ready up until, you have a full healthy roster again. So.
Thank you very much.
Eric Wilson.
Stephanie, I appreciate your time. I just wanted to get your thoughts on the team now is trying to get themselves back on that winning side of things. What has been the focus knowing that LA is coming in for the next 2 games?
So the focus, we've shifted it to us completely. We don't think it's, people altering our play. We think it's, more internal and things that we need to fix within ourselves. And that's, cutting down turnovers, things that we can control. So I think it's right now, it's just controlling the controllables and focusing on us.
And then, defensively, this is what the team has kind of worked on this season as far as establishing their identity. Has that been a major focus still at practice?
Definitely. We just want to pick up defensive intensity and, make that one of the things that come to mind when you see our team and you think of our defense and how hard we play and how disruptive we are. So that's something we're continuously building on and improving on every single day. So yes.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Nick Hamilton.
Good morning, Stephanie. Like you said, you guys are preparing for the LA Sparks, but what makes Nneka Ogwumike such a tough player to contain or defend against?
She's just, strong, explosive, and overall great player. So, like I said, I think our focus right now has been us and, what we can do to improve. So I think that's the main thing, we're working on right this second.
Allison Moran.
Hey there, Stephanie. Hope you're doing well today. What has James talked about in terms of the practices and things like that with regard to how to conduct yourselves, post this incident?
I mean, I feel like we're all adults here and understand that, the situation is not acceptable, but I don't think we had to, conduct ourselves any differently. I mean, we're just hoping, there's action taken behind this so that, this instance doesn't happen again.
And so what, in terms of LA coming in, they're going to be very thirsty for a win this season. So what is the game plan moving forward with making sure they're 0-3 on the season?
I know I've said it a few times, but I mean, in this instance, we feel like even our last loss, it's all things that we can control, all things, that come from, within. So we're just working on us and what we can do to improve, become a better basketball team, both individually and as a team. So just coming together collectively and everybody, honing in on what you can do and what you can, do better and bring better for the next game. So that's been our major key. Just everybody, what can do to make that the next game and moving forward this season.
Great. Thanks, Stephanie. Appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Stephanie. We'll have a Stu up next.
Thank you.
Hi, Stu. Thank you for joining us. We will start with Cheryl Raystout.
Hi, Stu. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. The subject matter is, of course, was what happened with James the other night with the referee. How much were you aware of what was going on, and what was the type of the feeling of the team after you found out what happened?
Like, honestly, to be sure, I didn't know nothing about that. And after this morning, he was talking about he's fine. But right now, in the world we live in, so we just need to like move on and go on and don't need like think about too much focus time like outside, because to be honest, I didn't know like nothing.
Emotionally, how much does it impact you guys and your relationship with James, knowing that he went through this?
Can we pass there, because I don't want to talk to you.
Thank you. On the court, what does this guy have to do to generate more offense, more effective offense?
Like I say, we just like play our basketball. We know we got good sense at the beginning, so like moving the ball a lot, because I feel like we start and we just like we don't have too much like explain the call, with the call. We just like pass and like stick at the same place. So we don't need, so we just like move the ball, playing, moving the defense, and play out basketball like we did.
Great, thank you very much.
Eric Wilson.
Stu, thank you for your time. I just wanted to ask you, this team this year has been a lot of focused around the defensive side of things. How are you preparing for the Sparks over these next two games?
Like you say, we was like focused more on defense, but I think we're gonna focus on playing our offense like we did, because we know they are a good team. So we need to show up who we are and play the game, playing like on the right time, and play the basketball and have fun.
Thank you, Stu.
Yeah.
Charles Holman.
Good afternoon, Astru. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All right. How's things been going for you in terms of the pace of the season? I know you know, just training camp goes so quickly. You was overseas. You had to come in, get everything settled, got protocols and all those type of things. How you been doing in terms of dealing with all that and keeping yourself focused and not crazy during this time?
Yeah, you're right. I'm trying to adapt it like as screen as possible. I can, because a lot of stuff going on. So I need to focus to doing my thing on the right way to help the team, because I know they need me. So I need to show up more.
Thank you very much.
Defense, like offense too.
Annie Constable.
Hey, Stu, when do you leave for your national team commitments?
I mean, next week after our last game against LA, in LA.
Oh, after the game in LA.
Yeah.
Okay, and then after this last game against Atlanta, what are your takeaways as a team defensively, as far as how you guys showed up against this team?
So I'm gonna leave by the other player. They're gonna be here and showing up, and like playing like the team. I think is gonna help us good, like offense also and defense, because sometimes I feel like 3 people or 4 people, they are doing the right thing on defense, and one like messed up. It's just one is messed up, so everybody is gonna be like messed up too. So I need to focus more on our defense side and the offense we come like to.
Thanks.
Cheryl Raystout.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean, I meant to take my hand down.
Oh, no worries. Allison Moran.
Hi, Stu. Hope you're doing well today. Um, I believe you had said the last game, you'll just put the best out on the floor that you can every game, something along those lines. In terms of LA, where do you see the best being? Where do you need to be the strongest?
I mean, like we can go like on offense, playing like a tradition, fast break. Because I feel like I say like before, we just like stand in one place, and it's not like so we like our basketball like going flow, running, go back door, or like running back on defense, like talking a lot, like mostly like me, if I don't have the ball on the rebound, so I can go back and sit and make the goal until my players will come. I'm gonna think about like that way on the defense, and like as the team, we need to like communication more.
Gotcha. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Estelle.
Yeah.
We'll have James Wade up next. If you have a question for James, you can raise your hand or put it in the text box below.
Bon, ça va? Ça va bien?
Hi, James. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
We'll start with Eric Wilson.
Coach, good afternoon. How are you?
Hey, Eric, how you doing, man? I'm doing good.
I'm well, sir. Let me ask this question first before I go any further. Do you want to discuss the situation that happened Tuesday, or you just want to talk about LA and Friday?
I'm open. You know, I know a lot of people want to talk about it, so.
All right, well, I'll let them talk about it then. Let me ask you about the spark. The team is 2-2 right now. What's been the focus with regards to getting this team back to playing Chicago Sky basketball?
We worked a lot offensively today. You know, one of the issues for us has been we haven't had the opportunity to play 5-on-5 since the season started. We've been in hardship situations, and we haven't been at 10, especially I want to say after Washington game. So it's been, you know, it's been a little difficult for us, but you know, we're dealing with it, and we're trying to get whole. But you know, once you're not able to do that, then it's kind of hard to work on the things that you need to work on, especially from a spacing and time and point of view when you can't go 5-on-5, and that's where you tend to see a lot of the turnovers from us and a lot of our spacing issues and stuff like that. But we did some things today that, you know, we tried to really focus on a certain part of the floor and doing different things where we can help our spacing and our time in it. It was more about us today than about LA, but we know that LA is going to be a tall task for us, but we're going to try our best to get back to ourselves.
And then if you could just provide an update on both Ali and Candace, where you feel they are at, and any expectation of seeing them play sometime soon.
Well, Ali's out for sure. Candace, I would imagine that she will be out from where she is. So right now we're taking it day to day, and we're just trying to get them better. But I doubt that we will see them tomorrow. But you know, we can all pray, huh?
Fair enough. Appreciate your time. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Shannon Ryan, Tribune.
Yeah, thanks, James. Were you told the league open an investigation into the complaint the team filed?
Yeah, I talked to the league.
And there's an investigation going on.
Yeah.
Okay. And what are your hopes of what comes from that? Maybe you could share a little about why you felt strongly enough to file a complaint and what you hope the result will be from that.
I just want accountability, and I want to be respected just like my peers. And I mentioned that to the league. I don't think that situation would have happened to Dan Hughes or Mike Tebow or any of other coaches in the league. I just, you know, it's just about respect thing. I saw a lot of media outlets, and you can take it away that you want, I don't know what I don't know if it derived from anything racial or anything. I don't know that, right? And I don't know that to be true. I just know it was disrespectful, and it has no place in our league. Now, what I want from it, I never want anyone to not be given a second chance, and I don't want to take someone's livelihood away from them, whether it was a mistake or not. I feel like everyone deserves a chance to redeem themselves, and so I just take it as but it has to be respect across the board, and that's just a matter of it. And the reference I didn't appreciate, and I just think it doesn't have any place in this league.
Do you feel like this is a recurring issue that you face?
I had an issue in 2019 that I addressed with the league, with the Referees Association, I would say. And apology was issued toward me. And that was probably a little bit more flagrant than this one.
Okay. And would you, you had mentioned that's how they see me after the game. Last question for me, but I was just wondering if you could elaborate on what you meant by that.
Well, this second incident, it just proved the point. The first incident was a little flagrant for me, and it caused your antennas to be up. But once you go to one of someone's players, once you go to someone's players and you talk like that about their coach to a player, I've never seen it before. I couldn't imagine that happening on any other platform where a referee would go and say that to a player about their coach. And I think it's divisive as well. My players see me as their coach, and they look for me for counseling, and they look for me for advice. They look for me for direction. I'm directing this ball club. I'm not their boy.
All right, thank you.
Annie Koskela with the Sun-Times.
Hey, James, at this point, do you feel supported by the league in this matter?
I feel supported by my team, my organization. I talked to the league yesterday. So, and when I talked to the league, the person that I talked to was very sympathetic with my feelings. So I don't know, that remains to be seen, but it was a good conversation. And, so I talked to our organization, ownership, the players, everybody's in my corner about this, and I feel good about it.
Is it troubling though that the league has yet to issue any comment regarding this matter?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I'm low on the totem pole, and that's okay. They're dealing with a lot of stuff. They're dealing with COVID. They're dealing with, clearing cases. They're dealing with a lot of injuries. They're dealing with a lot of things. So I'm fine. I'm fine. As long as I have the support of the organization, I'm fine.
Okay. And last for me, do you think there is an issue with diversity in coaching in the WNBA?
Definitely. It's an issue with diversity everywhere. So, just because it's WNBA or whatever, yeah, it's diversity issues all across the society. And sports is no shortcoming of it. Now, I think one of the issues is once you do diversify places and you get these things, you have to respect those, minorities in situations just like you would anyone else. And I think that's the difference. I just want to be seen. I know I'm not as accomplished as some of the coaches are, but I just want to be seen as the same, level of respect, because my responsibilities, they're the same, or even not more. I'm garnering two hats at the same time, and that's a lot to do. So I don't want to be looked at any differently or approached any differently, to say the least. We work hard to get to where we are, and that should be respected.
Thanks, James.
Doug Feinberg, Associated Press.
Hey, James, I'm curious if you've talked to Derek at all, as someone who's in the same shoes you are, so to speak, being the other black male head coach and being a GM and a coach. I know you're playing this weekend, but have you had any conversation if he's had a similar situation at all?
No. And if he haven't, or if he has, it wouldn't change what happened. We'll talk. I've talked to some other coaches who've shown me their support, but I haven't talked to him. And, you know, I know what it's like to be in his skin, and he know what it's like to be in mine. And it's something that's common. So I have no need to, you know, justify my feelings by talking to another black man.
And you were talking about outcomes, this is what you'd be looking for. Would you be willing or want to have a conversation with the official at some point to sort of figure out what was going on here? Or are you just moving on from that?
No, I haven't thought about it. Honestly. What happened, and it's no need for me to, you know, find out why from him. He's, you know, a lot of people do that today. They look to, you know, the person that the aggressee to, you know, kind of want to come to grips with it and find out why, and to kind of forgive and do all these things. It's not my problem. It happened to me, but it's not my problem. So it's nothing that I need to come into confrontation with. That's an issue with him, you know. So I'm fine, but you know, I just want to make sure that the respect is there. But I don't need to have any, you know, anything going forward with him. If he reached out, I would be open, but it's nothing that I'm seeking.
And the last, just a basketball question. You mentioned Candace is probably out.
Mm-hmm.
One of these things that you might be more cautious, knowing that it's a game she's probably very amped up for, playing her former team this weekend, that if there is like a 50-50, you might say, hey, you know, maybe we'll give you an extra day, knowing that she'll have more emotions than normal playing her former team?
No, I mean, I know it's something there. I know the emotions will be there. And this is the first time she'll ever get to play against, you know, her team. And but the thing is that we have our mindset that we want to get better every day. And so to get better every day, we have to make sure the health is there. So I don't want to do anything that would risk having Candace out long term, or something that would linger. And she's smart enough to know that she's a winner. She knows what it takes to win, and she's smart enough to know that what's intelligent choice and what's not intelligent choice.
Thanks, James.
Thanks.
Jamal Collier with the Tribune.
Hey, I had another question about Candace, and really Allie too. Are they doing anything? Are they able to practice or any steps along the way, or kind of where are they in that?
Yeah, they're doing workouts, but they're not able to practice. We wouldn't be, you know, the way the league is, we couldn't actually have them practicing and, you know, abide by the rules of having a hardship. So, you know, they're doing their workouts to get back on the floor as fast as they can.
I got it. Thank you.
Shannon Ryan.
Yeah, also just with the injuries, how do you want the team to manage this time with, you know, two key veteran type players out for at least a couple games? What do you want from the rest of the players during this time, and how critical is this time to kind of not fall in a big hole?
Well, I mean, we just have to step up, and everybody's going to have added responsibility. And that's it. You know, you have to look forward to these moments, because you get to figure out your team this way when things, you know, have your back against the wall, and you see who steps up. Like one thing that hasn't been hardly mentioned is the fact that Stephanie Dolson's not here too, and so it's actually three of our key players that are out, and it's an adventure to say the least. But you know, it's an adventure that we can learn a lot from, and I think we are so far.
I just wanted to follow up too with something you mentioned during my earlier questions. Was you mentioned the 2019 incident, and sorry if it was well publicized and I'm not aware, but could you share what happened in that with something you said was flagrant with the referee?
It was a game where, you know, I don't know if you guys remember when Astu was
Right.
when Astu was kicked out of the game. I was accused of being aggressive
Okay.
when I only asked a question, and it gave me, you know, thoughts of what it felt like when someone said stop resisting. But it was really ill. It was taken very badly from myself, and my coaching staff that was around me made us feel very uncomfortable. And you know, the referee had apologized to me and concurred with my sentiments. So that was probably one of the most uncomfortable moments I've ever had as a professional.
Cheryl raced out, WBZ.
Hi, James. James, you mentioned the 2019 and you mentioned this, and we know about what happened just recently. What type of action would you like to see the league make? Possibly training for these referees, or what would you like to see happen?
I don't know. I'd like to see a lot of things happen. I would like to see, you know, just more respect. So I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're training or not. Like I said, that's not my job to answer. You know.
Do you feel comfortable?
What am I supposed to say to that? I just want to be looked at as equal as everybody else and respected. So I do not know how to answer that.
Sorry, I'm having a delay issues for some reason. James, you're comfortable with what the league was going to do?
I don't know what they're going to do.
I know what the league's going to do. Mm-hmm.
Nick Hamilton.
Hey, Coach. As a head coach and an executive, based upon what you were referred to by that referee and the history behind that word in this country, as having racial implications, are you surprised that the league hasn't been more vocal, especially with this league being as a catalyst for social justice as it was last season?
I mean, I don't know. I know they have to do an investigation, and I respect the fact that they want to do their due diligence and see, you know, what it actually means, and you know, what it means to them. I explained what it meant to me, you know, and the league is going to do with it what the league is going to do with it. I hope you know, we hear about something soon. I would hope so, but I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm not surprised by anything, so I don't get my hopes up on anything. I just try to do my job to the best of my ability. Like I said, I've lived in my skin for 40-something odd years, and I've experienced this outside of my profession. I've experienced it inside of my profession, and it's something that is ongoing. But I think the tipping point for me was, you know, when you involve my players, and it goes to a point where you come to them in a less than respectful way of their coach, how divisive that is. You know, that's very divisive, and it's affecting my ability to do my job. It's affecting us, putting a stereotype in how you see us. You know, I can't have that. That would not happen to any other coach. It would not happen to Dan Hughes. It would not happen to Mike Tebow. I couldn't imagine them going to Elena Delle Donne and saying, "Tell your boy to do this," or going to Breanna Stewart and saying, "Tell your boy to do that." And I don't want to be a victim. This is just how it is. This is just what it is. And so that's it. But I'm not gonna. It's not gonna affect me to a point where it's gonna make me be quiet about it, and it's not gonna affect me to a point where I'm gonna go hide in the corner or think less than my accept less. we're going to have to come up with something. But as long as this continues to happen, then I'm going to speak up on it.
Absolutely, Coach. You spoke about just getting the support from your organization and your team and your players. Have any other coaches around the league reached out in support of what you've gone through and what you've experienced, unfortunately?
Yes, I've had some reach out to me, and I always appreciate it. You know, this is it's a fraternity sorority, and I know we all we go at each other and everybody's competitive, but we at the end of the day we all support each other.
And lastly, for me, you're facing the Sparks, obviously, but what is it about Nneka Ogwumike that makes her so hard to contain or defend against? With the Sparks coming in here looking for their first win.
I think it's her identity, her IQ, who she is, her athleticism. She's a well-rounded player. She's been an MVP in this league. She's won championship. She's efficient. So she's efficient in everything she does. So she's efficient in the way she moves to the ball, the off ball movement, getting rebounds, scoring at a high rate, and getting to her spot. So and the energy that she carries with it, that's a lot to handle. So she's a big part of what they do, and we just have to contain it as much as possible.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck to you.
Allison Moran.
Hi, James. I'm hoping that you're doing a little better, feeling a little bit better today. And so what I had wanted to find out from you is how have the players reacted, first of all, in light of this incident? Have they spoken to you regarding their support for you and things like that?
Yeah, I talked to the players today, and they've reached out to me at different points in time just to see how I was doing. We had a spirited practice today, and once you get around, this group is really special. Once you get around this group, lights just turn on. They have an energy about them that you can escape in a room with them, and it's pretty good. So practice was good, and being here in the practice facility and working with them was a good practice. It was a good day today, and so it was a comforting environment, and I appreciate it.
Great. I also was wondering if you had ever worked with this particular referee before, himself a minority in a minority group. Have you ever come in contact with him?
I don't understand what you're saying.
Oh, the ref in question,
Okay.
who gave you the boy talk, had he ever reffed a game of that you'd been a part of before?
Yeah, he has. He's been in the league for some time. Well, I don't understand what you mean by the other minority setting. I don't get it.
Oh, well, he himself is Korean American.
Okay.
So,
you understand that I'm a Black man.
Yes, I do. I
Okay.
totally do.
All right.
Yes.
So you understand we're not of the same. We're not only not of the same, culture, but we don't have the same history behind what we've built. So I just want you to understand that when you say other minorities, I'm a Black man, not just a minority. All right.
It's a special class, so to speak, in that.
Everybody. Everybody.
In that regard, I totally understand what you're saying there.
I know you don't mean anything bad by it, so I just want to make that clear.
I get you. But there had been no other incidents with him.
He's given me a tag before, but I deserved it. But it's fine.
I gotcha. It was so they're outside of that. no other instances in terms of disrespecting you or giving bad calls as a result of whatever.
Yeah, this isn't really about calls or technicals or anything like that. So it has nothing to do with it.
Mhm.
It has nothing to do with the
Yeah.
game.
But
It's
no
just-
bad, no, yeah,
I don't have bad blood with him.
I
Alice
got,
Hallman, we'll head to you next.
thank you. Thank you, James.
Good afternoon, Charles. Good afternoon, James. How are you doing today?
All right, how you doing, Charles?
Doing fine. I want to change the subject so make you smile a little bit. Uh, First of all, speak on how Tanya has fit in on your staff. How has she been doing? And the
Tanya's been good. I'll
Okay.
keep on that. What's your next question?
second question is, you and your wife has a historical part in the league history in terms of we celebrated 25 years. I don't know if you've been spoken about that or been asked about that, but if you can speak a little bit on that, reflect on that. I know you've been busy, but maybe you can talk about that just in terms of you and your wife's place in the league's history.
Well, first of all, Tanya, who's one of the original players, has been really great. Having her point of view and her perspective, and having an ex-player on our staff is always welcomed and appreciated. She's fit in like she's been here, so it's been great. And she has a special place in my head because she's always telling me great ideas and the ideas that we don't get along, don't agree on. She's trying to persuade me a certain way. So it's been good. It's been really good. As far as the history that my wife and I have in the league, my wife actually played in the league for 5 years, and she played in New York, played in Seattle, played in Houston, and she played in San Antonio where they went to the finals. So it's I followed the league even before I met my wife, and when I met my wife, she was working to get to the league, and I just tried to do the best I can as a husband or boyfriend, then a husband to help support that goal of hers. And so it's a special moment for me and for her and for our family when she was able to finally make the league, and we appreciated and loved every minute of it. It's something that she worked her life for, to play at the highest level and have that opportunity when the league came together, to have that as a goal in mind and say, okay, this is the best league in the world and I can go to it and actually help and see her dreams come to fruition. It's a feeling that you can't describe. And so me being a general manager, when it comes to free agency and when it comes to drafting, and I know the feeling that the players go through, and being around this league for so many years, I know, the journey of players that have been like cut and waived and then come back and then have great years and have great careers. I know what it feels like. And because I was a part of it. And, it's just special to see how much this league has grown over the years, and to actually be a part of it and actually, participate in winning and suffer the losses with the players and have it hurt as much as it hurts them. It's special moments. And I'm just so proud and humbled to be a part of it.
Thanks, James. Good luck.
Thank you.
2 more questions for James. Nove Wilkes.
Hey, Coach Wade, how you doing today?
All right, no, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I just want to ask you about another one of your assistant coaches, Olaf. Him and Candace actually won a championship together in Russia with Ekaterinburg. And I just want to ask you, has he helped you a lot on how to fit her into your offensive schemes with her coming over from LA, have coached her before and having had to make up offensive plays for her?
Yeah, I mean, he's helped me a lot. Tanya's helped me a lot. Both of them have helped. Tanya, they actually won a championship here in the States with the Sparks. Tanya was on that staff. Olaf being her head coach in Ekaterinburg. They've both been very helpful in trying to get her adapted and situated and giving us great ideas to kind of fit her into the system. So it's going pretty well. Like, I couldn't ask for a better staff to help welcome her.
And I have another question concerning Candace's injury. You said, I think previously it was like a minor sprain, and this would be, I guess her fourth game is. Was it more severe than you guys originally thought, or is it still listed as a minor sprain?
No, it is. I mean, we just played Atlanta. It's been a week, and so we just want to be smart with it. I think if we were a playoff game, she could probably play, but it's early in the season, and so we just she's trying to get to where it's not something that could actually reoccur, and I think that's the smart way to do it, because if we get out and the ankle's not 100%, then it's something that can just linger on throughout the season.
Okay, thank you, Coach Wade.
Thanks.
Last question, Shannon Ryan with the Tribune.
I'm so sorry. I forgot to put my hand down.
No
I'm good.
worries. Okay, great. Thank you so much, James, and thank you all for joining us.
Thanks.
Great rest of your day. Appreciate you.
Thank you, James.